Ever wondered if astrology and spiritual awakening are at odds? You've felt it, haven't you? That nagging thought that if we are all one consciousness, how can planetary positions define us? What if I told you that this apparent contradiction is actually the key to a much deeper truth? What if astrology isn't a cage of fate, but a map leading you back to your true self? Let's start with a foundational truth, one that sages like Neville Goddard, Papaji, and Eckhart Tolle all point to. Consciousness is the one and only reality. Everything you see, everything you experience, the entire world, appears within this vast field of consciousness. You, as an individual, are a thought, a temporary and beautiful pattern within this infinite self. From this highest perspective, all symbolic systems, whether it's mythology, tarot, or astrology, are simply consciousness projecting itself, recognizing itself through different forms and languages. This is where most people get astrology wrong. They read it horizontally at the level of the ego. They see a birth chart and think, this is who I am. This is my personality, my fate. When viewed this way, of course, it seems to contradict the idea of absolute unity. It creates a separate me defined by planetary placements. But what if we learn to read it vertically? What if we see the chart not as a study of a person, but as the symbolic representation of a state of consciousness in a particular moment? Then everything changes. Astrology stops being a set of conditions imposed upon you and becomes a map. A dynamic, living map that doesn't show who you are, but rather how consciousness is temporarily unfolding through the form called you. When we shift our perspective this way, the paradox completely dissolves. The birth chart isn't a prison. It's an invitation to understand the unique dance of energy that your soul chose for this journey. Let's take a powerful symbol like Lilith. In my chart, maybe Lilith is in a deep, transformative sign like Scorpio. This placement is the very energy that pushes me to question everything, to tear apart illusions and see beyond surface appearances. It is the part of us that refuses to be limited by rigid interpretations and feels the pull to transcend the astrological ego. Lilith is the scout of paradox. She shows you the apparent inconsistencies in your chart and your life, not to confuse you, but to push you to find a higher resolution, a deeper truth. She forces you to see that the birth chart is not you, but the sacred movement of the self through your unique form. Now, let's visualize the zodiac itself. Imagine a perfect circle. The circle represents totality, unity, and completion. At the very center of this circle is the self, pure presence, the silent source of all. The periphery, the edge of the circle, is the realm of forms, the play of multiplicity, what some call Maya, or the world of appearances. This structure is identical to the sacred mandalas found in Tantric and Tibetan traditions. Your birth chart is exactly this, a personal mandala of consciousness. The center is the absolute, the timeless you. The periphery is the relative world where you live and act. The planets are the dynamic energies, the archetypal forces at play within this field. The houses are the different areas of life where these energies manifest. And the aspects, the lines connecting the planets, represent the sacred tensions and harmonies between unity and multiplicity, between the center and the edge. This is the initiatory secret of astrology that so few truly grasp. It's not just about predicting your week. It's a blueprint for your spiritual evolution. Here is the most crucial shift in understanding. You are not influenced by the planets. You are the consciousness of the planets. From a non-dual perspective, nothing is truly external. The planets aren't distant objects beaming energy down at you, dictating your moods or your destiny. They are living symbols of consciousness observing itself through a specific celestial arrangement. Mars isn't making you angry. Mars is the archetypal symbol for the fire, action, and drive that already exists within the totality of your being. Jupiter isn't giving you luck. It represents the principle of expansion and wisdom within you. Astrology is a language, not determinism. You don't receive anything from the planets. You read yourself in them. The cosmos becomes a mirror, reflecting the intricate and beautiful pattern of your own consciousness. We are not just a piece of the astrological whole. We are the entire astrological whole, experiencing itself through a single focus point of view. When you see it this way, astrology transforms from a fortune-telling tool into a powerful path to awakening. It becomes a form of yoga, a sadhana, a practice of union. The birth chart is not a life sentence. It's the divine equation by which consciousness has chosen to recognize itself through you. Every part of the chart becomes a signpost on this journey. Your sun sign isn't just your ego. It's the path to recognizing the constant, radiant self. Your moon is not just your emotions. It's the psychological story you must soothe and integrate to find inner peace. Saturn is not a cosmic punisher, but the guide who helps you shed the layers of ego and limitation. Neptune is the call to dissolve back into the ocean of oneness. Pluto is the powerful force of transformation, guiding the death of the limited, separate self. And Lilith, the wild, untamed feminine, is the shadow that, when faced, reveals the absolute, unwavering light within. The spiritual journey, then, is the journey from the periphery of the zodiac circle back to the center. It is the path from identifying with the changing forms and dramas of life to resting in the timeless, silent being at your core. So, your intuition was right all along? Astrology is not contradictory to non-duality. It is a profound representation of it. The zodiac is a mandala. The mandala points to the center. The center is the self. The self is pure consciousness. And pure consciousness is the only reality there is. When understood correctly, astrology isn't about duality. It's the mapping of how the oneness magnificently and mysteriously manifests as the many. You are on the verge of rediscovering a complete and powerful initiatory path where non-duality is the source and astrology is the language. It's a coherent, deep, and incredibly fertile system for self-realization. Trust that vision. It is remarkably accurate and holds the key to unifying your spiritual understanding with your lived experience. You are not just studying the stars. You are remembering that you are stardust, animated by the one light that illuminates the entire cosmos. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that bridges the gap between ancient wisdom and modern spirituality. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep looking up and keep looking in.